Hey everybody, Mikey's back. Here I am again, and I got a new video for you guys today. And today we're going to be taking a look at my blue coat fleet. Yes, that's right. It is. These are the three ships that make up my blue coat navy at this time. And before I go any further, let me just say, if you like this video or any other videos on my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it, guys. You guys are all awesome. Thanks so much. And right off the top of the bat, let me just say that all three of these ships are not technically Lego ships. These are actually three Enlighten ships. So at the time of this video, my entire blue coat navy is actually made up of Enlighten ships, which is a little bit interesting. But of course, two of the three are actually based off of the replicas of actual Lego sets, and all three of them, I have completely modified them and changed them, some more than others, to fit the needs that I was looking for. But of course, notice there is one big, absence that is missing from this collection, and that is, of course, the Caribbean Clipper, the only blue coat ship that Lego has made to date. And yes, that is definitely one that is on my radar, that it's probably would be the next ship like this you see me buy, would be that one. So it will be coming to this collection eventually. I just haven't quite gotten it there yet, but it is definitely on my radar. And so let's look at these. Of course, the one in the middle is my blue coat flagship, and it is, of course, based off of the classic Lego set, the Black Seas Barracuda, which I have completely reworked mine into a blue coat ship. It was, of course, originally supposed to be a pirate ship. And then over there on the right, that is actually based off of the Lego Armada Flagship, which was like their green coat or Spanish ship that they made during the mid-90s. It's the only ship like that the green coat faction ever received. And of course, I reworked mine into a blue coat ship because, I mean, it looks, with the sail that it came with the blue stripes, it already seemed like it should be a blue coat ship, so that's how I reworked it. And then over here on the left, that is actually one of the few ships that Enlighten has made that is actually their own original design. It is actually the King of the Seas ship, and I completely reworked it and retooled it and turned that into another blue coat ship, and we'll get down into that in a moment. So let's take a look at these up close, shall we? So here is my blue coat Armada Flagship, modification, change, combination type ship, whatever you want to call it. As compared to the actual official Lego set, the rear of the ship has been changed on this set. I can't get into exactly what changes they did make to it, but because I've never actually owned the official one. So all I can go is based upon what I've seen in pictures and what other people have told me. So yes, the rear has been changed of the ship. So that is one difference you will find between the Enlighten version as opposed to the actual official Lego version. And then again, of course, I turned it into a blue coat ship, so added the flags and the minifigures, etc. Which, again, if you're new to my channel, all my minifigures that you will see, these are all Lego minifigures. I have not kept the Enlighten ones, on my ships. And then the figurehead that I put on here, this was not the figurehead that it originally came with. As a matter of fact, this ship did not come with a figurehead at all. All these Enlighten ships, for whatever reason, they just kind of conveniently left that out. And since I'm starting with this one, I decided I wanted to tell you guys that I do rank all my minifigures, all my like military based minifigures. So to try to make it help you guys understand who is in charge and whatnot. And of course, this is the captain of this vessel. You can tell by he has gold and yellow epithets or epaulets, I forget what they're called, somebody can put it in the description. That always dictates the commanding officers. And then this hat here, I always give that to either my captains or my commanders, either the first and second top officers on each vessel will have those. Sometimes it's only the top, the captain, like in this ship, for example. This ship only has him wearing that kind of a hat because it is a smaller vessel, so I couldn't put as many minifigures on it. So he's the only one that comes like that on this particular ship. And then he would actually be my second in command, and typically I don't put my first officer as actually driving the ship, because typically you don't find that. That's more of a little, not a low-ranking officer, but a little bit further down the food chain. Not one of the captain or the first mate. They typically aren't the ones you see steering the ships. But because this one is a smaller vessel, I actually put my first officer behind the wheel, and then from there, the red epaulets or epaulets, whatever they're called, I put them on my next chain of command. And so he's actually up here in the crow's nest. He's next in command on this ship. And then the white is the next rank. And then of course those that have none, they are at the bottom. So that's a quick little overview of the rank you'll find on my ships. But I actually haven't looked at this ship up closely in quite a while. And as you can see, it's only has one cannon, so this wouldn't be a super efficient warship, but it's a good little scouting ship to go out and check the seas to see if everything's all right. They can get in and out because of the smaller size, and it's definitely one of the faster vessels that you're gonna find. And it's the fastest in my Blue Coat fleet. So it might be small and not quite meant for war per se, but it still can hang in there, and it's a nice little ship. I like it a lot, and as I've said in other videos, I like ships of multiple sizes. I don't like just having all of the same kind all the time, and it's kind of hard to do, but this does open up, and you can look down in there. But it's just a vacant space, really. I haven't really put anything in there because it's not accessible at all, really. In the original design of the ship, there was a cannon that you could stick down in there on that side, and it could go out there. But you had no room for anything on the other side. So it seems silly to me to have, one cannon on one side and none on the other. So I just plain removed it from this ship. And then there's my captain, and he's ready to roll. So now let's take a look at the next one. And here is my medium-sized vessel for my Blue Coat fleet. And I have actually named this ship the Enterprise. Yes, based on the name of the ship in the Star Trek series, of course. I am a little bit of a Star Trek fan, mostly stuff from the 80s and 90s, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine type stuff. But so I thought it'd be fun to incorporate some of that, a little bit of an influence. On a side note, I'm a much bigger Star Wars fan than Star Trek fan, but I know nobody really asked that. But anyways, I named this ship the Enterprise. And of course, this is an Enlighten original design, which I put new sails on and turned into a Blue Coat ship. And the reason why I turned it into a Blue Coat ship originally was because of this blue trim here. You know, I thought that was very nice, you know, and it's up here too. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool to try and make this one into a blue coat ship. And being that it is an Enlightened design, this little section here, it was kind of flimsy with the original ship, the original design, and so it came apart a lot. So I actually wanted to put this blue trim on top, not only just for fashion but for function as well, to help stabilize it. And so I went ahead and added more, you know, around it to really, you know, make it obvious that it is a blue coat ship. And these sails, they were designed by my wife. They were one of her original, you know, sail designs that she came up with. And, you know, for being sails that we came up with, you know, 3 years ago or so, they're actually holding up pretty well, and they're still on the ship. So that's pretty cool into itself. You might not be able to tell via video, but they're more of like a navy blue, you know, dark bluish type color. You know, sometimes they look black in some of the images and stuff that I've seen. And as you can see, this is our captain, and I have actually named him Captain Jean-Luc Picard. If you have seen my stop motion series, you know, he should be familiar to you. And like I said, on this one, because it's a little bit bigger of a vessel, you see I have the guy in the red epaulets. He is actually steering the ship. None of the commanding officers are. And then, of course, we got red still up in the crow's nest. I like to put those guys, they get some of the better jobs aboard these vessels. They're not manning the guns and swabbing the deck type guys. And then let's take a look down in the, well, before I get into the captain's quarters, let me do a 360 tour of it. It's a very nice, elegant ship. I was really quite surprised by this ship when I first bought it. So much so that we actually went and got 2 of them, because I do really like this ship. And again, the masthead did not originally come on it. I put Lady Liberty on there because the blue coats are supposed to be more like French, and you know, it just made sense to me, and so there it is. But let's look down in the captain's quarters. Take all the minifigures off. And one thing I had to do for some of these Enlightened ships, this one in particular, I had to really sure up this whole platform area, because it would come apart quite easily, and so it created frustrations. So it didn't originally come this thick. You know, I had to make some changes to it. Trying to get down in there. See, there is a captain's quarters down in there. It's really a basic one, just a room with a table in there and on a cup. That's all that's in there, but it does indeed have one, which I always appreciate it when they do. And so this is my second in command, my second biggest blue coat ship, the Enterprise. And then here we go with my big bad Voodoo Daddy, my blue coat flagship. And you know, as I said before, it is essentially the Black Seas Barracuda, which I am not the first person to turn this into a blue coat ship. It just, I seen other people do it on the internet, and it was just crying out to be done. It's just, it has a nice, elegant, regal design to it. The original Lego one does, of course, and which of course this one is very, very similar. I mean, I would have to actually get the actual Black Seas Barracuda in front of me to really be able to pick apart some of the differences. This one compared to the original. But these sails, these are actually official Lego Imperial flagship sails that we took just a blue Sharpie to them and gave it the regal blue look, which I'm really happy with and proud with. And then of course the mermaid as the figurehead. Again, this one did not come with the masthead, but that is what's on the Black Seas Barracuda, so we went and got the same mermaid to put on there. And it's just, I really like this ship a lot. When people ask me, which ones are my favorite or least favorite, I always have trouble where to actually rank this one, because I do like it a lot, and I can't say it's one of the absolute best, but like how it's got this this rigging type stuff going all the way around it, that is something that is missing from the newer sets. That makes me sad. I like having all the rope everywhere. It makes it look more like a real ship and not just a Lego set. It's those attention to details that sometimes they do better with nowadays, and sometimes they did better with more of the older sets. So it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, but nevertheless. And then here is my captain, and this is actually Governor Broadside, or I've named mine Admiral Broadside. He's a classic Lego pirate minifigure, and of course I made him the admiral of my flagship, my blue coat flagship. And these little panels like there, they do open up and you can get down in there. But as I've said before, one of the things that I really, really like about this ship in particular is how it has two levels to it. Yes, there's not a whole lot going on the lower level. They just have the cannons, but they actually give you the illusion that there is a lower deck to this ship, which I really, really like a lot. That's one thing that most of the newer ships, they don't have like a lower deck type feature, and that always kind of bums me out, because I'm a big fan of having more than one deck on these ships. So that's why I would absolutely put this ship ahead of like say the Brickbeard's Bounty or the Brick Bounty, and it's for that kind of that reason alone. I would rank it ahead of whether it's my Enlighten one or the official Lego one. And then here is the rear, and you can access the captain's quarters back through here, and it's got it's a nice captain's quarters. It's not amazing or anything, but it's got a treasure chest in it and a cup. But just having this nice way to access it, I've always been a big fan of. And then it does open up like this as well. And as I did with the other ones, see all this here, it wasn't originally like that. I came up with this crazy nonsense based upon the pieces I had just to shore up this platform so you could open and close it without it, falling apart on you, because that is one of the downsides of these Enlighten sets, is they're not quite as sturdy and strong as a Lego one would be. So there's down in the captain's quarters. But even though it might not be as sturdy, brick quality, the clutch factor is not quite as good as a Lego one would be. It's not terrible, and you can get the set for for a lot cheaper than buying the Lego one. I'll say that for sure. So it's not necessarily a bad way to go, and I don't regret getting this ship at all. Sure, I would like to get the real Lego Black Seas Barracuda at some point, and if I had it, I think I would leave it as an actual pirate ship and keep this one as my blue coat ship. But there she is. Now let me put it back in their original places, and I'll get into my final thoughts. And here they are back in their original positions. And of course, I am still sad that I don't have the Caribbean Clipper as of yet. And like I said, that is probably the number one top Lego ship that is on my radar at the moment. with number 2 being the original small Imperial flagship, so another red coat. So I'm looking to add to my blue coat and red coat fleet, before you'll see me, buying, another quote-unquote pirate ship for my collection, because I get asked in the comments sometimes, am I interested in this ship, or what do I think about that ship? And I'm a huge fan of all of these, so I love them all. But if you ask me, which ones I am looking to get, in what particular order, those two I'm looking to beef up my blue and red coat navies a little bit more before I talk about actual pirate ships. But there is my video for you guys today. Tell me what you think of my blue coat fleet, and do you think that they would be fearsome if they ran into some pirates on the waters? Because typically pirates are only going to be one ship at a time. You don't see a fleet of pirate ships fighting a fleet of blue coat or red coat ships. So one pirate ship, even if it is like the Queen Anne's Revenge, for example, I think it would have trouble running into these 3 blue coat ships. I think they have a pretty solid, strong navy. My blue coat faction does. So there we are. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys all again soon. Take care, everybody.